Part 5. Relationship. Relationships are the place where we thrive. They are also the place where we are challenged the most. One of my favorite books, The Courage to be Disliked, states that all problems are interpersonal relationship problems. I'd not disagree. And it all begins with having the right relationship with the most important person, you. Hope these reflections of mine help you, as much as they help me as well. Would you be friends with your own self? Would you marry yourself? Would you be your own boss? What version of you would you rather not be? Why do you still continue being that version? There are some flaws in you that you would never like to see in anyone else. Yet you keep living with those flaws. If something is unacceptable to you in others, it must be something that must be unacceptable to you in yourself in the first place. The change we want in others is the change we need to begin with. We invite what we allow. You can neither choose your parents nor what they end up doing to you psychologically. Be prepared to heal yourself, if you have to. The only thing we do not choose is the family we are born to. The only thing that has the maximum impact on us as kids is the family we are born to. This may be good news for some, and tragedy for others. Most people choose to live with this tragedy, and call it fate. The bold ones choose to change what happened to them by actively healing themselves. What's stopping you from making the bold choice? Healing isn't an option, it is a necessity. Holding a grudge against someone requires a lot of effort. Think of all the wasted time spent being mad at someone. Someone broke you into pieces. And now you have decided to trade your peace for seeking revenge. When we hold a grudge against someone, we do the same thing they did to us, hurt us. They hurt us once. We hurt ourselves 100x by repeating it in our head. Every problem in this world can be traced back to a point of miscommunication. All relationships thrive on communication. Feeling upset with someone? Why not talk? Feeling upset with yourself? Why not talk to yourself? Once we know how to communicate and we do communicate, problems move from being problems to actions to be taken. There is a big difference between saying thank you and feeling thankful. Saying thank you to please someone, or saying thank you because you were truly grateful. One shows obligation, the other shows admiration. We create our relationships by what we choose to give. Nothing teaches you better than teaching others. When you learn anything, you make it a part of you. When you teach anything, you make it a part of others. To make others understand things, you simplify them further. Break down what you already know, through which you create your own breakthroughs. To start with, "You're right" is great. To do so in public, when you don't have to, is greatness. Your kindness might cause you pain, a sense of betrayal, heartburn. Be kind anyway. Not everyone is going to reciprocate your kindness. Some are even going to play with it. Some are not going to care. Some are not going to acknowledge it ever. Yet, kindness is always the right thing to do. Not for anyone's validation, for your own. Because who would you be if you are not kind? Unpopular opinion. Empathy cannot be taught. You are either born with it or not. Empathy equals I understand what you are going through. From so many years of meeting and interacting with people, here's what I know for sure. Empathy is either your innate quality or it isn't. No one can teach you to understand others. No one can teach you to put yourself in others' shoes. You either have it, or you don't. There is no work in progress. When you realize the truth of this statement, you get to decide who is worth spending your time on, who is your tribe, and whom to say no to. Sympathy. I feel sorry for you. Empathy. I can understand what you must be going through. Respect. I admire the way you are handling this. Respect greater than empathy greater than sympathy. Sympathy is a form of pity. Empathy is rising above it and thinking at par with someone who is going through. Respect is rising beyond what they are going through, and letting them know that they are doing a beautiful job. No one is useless. Everyone knows something you don't. When we approach people with the mindset that they don't know anything, we close all doors to learning something new. Only when we shut the door of our ego and be open to learning something new do we realize how much we don't know. Everyone has stories. Stories that create their filters. Filters that create their stains or clean them. And almost every story comes with a knowledge that you don't have. That isn't surprising, rather relieving. Knowing that you don't know much is the best knowledge. By not appreciating someone for their vulnerability and truth, all we do is encourage lying. Remember the time you did something wrong as a kid? And instead of lying, you decided to own up and tell your parents about it? However, you got scolded, instead of being appreciated for speaking the truth. That becomes your worldview. That is how you figure how the world works. Are we doing the exact same thing with people around us? And subconsciously telling them that speaking the truth is not an act of courage? Truth, as scary as it is, comes with the courage to speak up and stand by it. True respect is when you respect someone even after you've got to know them. It's easy to respect someone online or from a distance. But that isn't respect, it's infatuation. It's hard to replicate that respect when you know them beyond the perceived persona. Now they're not acting. They are without their mask. Bare and barren. That is when your admiration turns into either loathing or respect. Run away from those who are trying to run away from themselves. Those who are not willing to heal themselves. Those who do not want to know their deeper parts. Those who are not okay and do nothing to change it. Those who do not want to have difficult conversations with themselves. Run away from those who never run towards themselves. Do not show up for every argument you are invited to. An undeniable life hack for your peace. The nature of arguments is that they thrive on more inputs. If your only input in every argument is your silence, peace follows naturally. Respect doesn't come from the title. It comes from conduct. Respect doesn't come if you are a CEO, founder, leader, manager, or senior. Respect comes from what you do and who you are. And you don't need any title to get there. What you do becomes your title. How you treat others is your business card. There are people who tell you that you are wrong. There are people that help you see where you are wrong. Guess which ones are more important? The ones who tell you that you're wrong are the ones imposing their beliefs on you. The ones who help you see where you are wrong are the ones encouraging you to form your own beliefs. Some impose. Others show. Some poke. Others make you more awake. Some show you how you are wrong. Others teach you how to be right. It takes effort to find love. It takes effort to feel fulfilled. It takes effort to be fit. It takes effort to be happy. Which is why most of us do not have love, fulfillment, happiness or fitness in our life. We all accept the love we think we deserve. Love is contingent, not on the ones loving us, rather on our definition of love, and how much we love ourselves. If we think we are not worthy of love, we will subconsciously deny it. If we truly believe we are worthy of love, we will take the smallest compliments with grace and ease. People who are loved the most are the ones who believe that they are worthy of love. We don't have to agree with each other as long as we understand each other. The best relationship doesn't necessarily agree on everything. The best relationships have the best acceptance despite their differences. When we want only our say in relationships, we miss out on the bigger picture. When we respect our differences, we love people for who they truly are. Who you decide to spend your life with. One of the biggest decisions you will make in your life. Don't take it lightly. The partner you pick will directly or indirectly decide your free time, work, finances and most importantly, your happiness. This is the one decision that could be painful to reverse. This is the one decision that will influence almost all your decisions. This is the one decision that will either make you feel proud or suffocated every morning. Your parents are first humans. Then parents. Which means they too can be wrong. They too can be toxic. They too can be unreasonable. Do not think they are above all of this. As long as you are financially dependent on your parents, you are answerable to them. If you wish to be independent of them, while still respecting them as your parents, buy yourself financial freedom. Whenever someone says, "You will never know how I am feeling," remind yourself that they are telling you life's most fundamental truth. We will never know. We will never truly understand what the other person is going through. This might hurt, especially if you love them dearly. However, true love sometimes means understanding that you don't understand. Your true friends are those who are truly happy for you when you succeed. Be that true friend for others. Most people say true friends are the ones who are there for us in our tough times. I believe that's wrong. Anyone can be there for us in our tough times. What we truly want to have are friends who are never jealous of what we have achieved, rather celebrate us for that. However, it is rare to find such friends. Most either gossip in private groups or are never truly happy. But we all wish we had one. What if we became that one? When you give what you desire the most, you don't desire it anymore. If you share because you are expecting something in return, it is not sharing. It is a transaction. Wanting to maintain a distance from someone you do not relate to anymore doesn't mean you don't care about them. It just means you care about the relationship you have with yourself more than the one you have with them. We change courses. Some don't. We learn to let go. Some don't. We grow more positive. Some don't. It's okay to not relate to them anymore. It's okay to be emotionally away. It's okay to respect your growth while they don't respect theirs. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you cannot care about anyone unless you care about yourself. Stay away from relationships that suck energy out of you. These relationships are rarely give and take. They only take. And you have only so much to give. How we treat others is a reflection of how we treat ourselves. It is rare, almost impossible, for a mean, conniving, hurtful, racist, bigoted person to truly love themselves. We bring people down because we are feeling low. We make fun of them because we are not in a self-respecting place in our lives. We don't think twice before hurting others because we are hurt deeply. We may not want to admit that. People who are truly pierced within are rarely seen having inner peace. However, truly happy, fulfilled and soaring people never ever make others feel bad about themselves. The inner world drives the outer. Period. We are not the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. We are the average of the 5 thoughts we spend the most time with. And those thoughts needn't come from people in our life. Our thoughts come from people we follow on social media, the books, podcasts, anything we consume. We aren't with people anymore. We are with ideas, thoughts and identities. Pick wisely. Lessons I learned from my parents. Papa joined a young company as a sales representative. Within a year, he got a call from another company. 2x salary plus a car. This was 1985. And a big deal. He took the offer. 2 years down, the company shuts. The company he quit, ran back C, becomes a giant. Dad was jobless for a year. I remember sitting as a family, filling ballpen refills because he was paid for every 100 pens filled. I remember days when Ma and Papa had just one meal a day. But my sister and I went to the best schools possible. We knew we didn't have money, but were never made to feel so. Papa took a risk, and it didn't pay off. He could never recover from it. But he would take the same risk again if he had to. Lesson. Risk and failure are a state of mind. There should never be any fear. And no regret. Ma is one of the most empathetic people I know. Her sensitivity is her superpower, because she has a knack for knowing what the other person might be feeling. Whenever there was a conflict in my head or I was angry at someone, she always used to ask, "Wo kya soch rahi hanj?" What would the person be thinking? Lesson. It is just as important to ask, what would they be thinking? As it is to ask, how am I feeling? Papa struggled his entire professional life. His risks didn't pay off, we were perpetually in debt, and went through some extremely tough times financially. But one thing that never changed was how hard he continued to work. I was always amazed, always wondered what kept him going. Lesson. Nothing matters more in life than showing up every day. To work, to assume responsibilities, to nurture relationships. Whenever I won any award or did anything praiseworthy, Ma would of course be happy, but she would instantly shower her favorite blessing, Bhagwan tumhi humisha zameen par rakhi. May God always keep you grounded. Lesson. Never forget where you have come from. Be it a family gathering, a wedding ceremony or even a normal dinner, Papa will always carry his book of Kashmiri songs. In the hope that someone asks him to sing. He believes he sings well, and he does. So he can't fathom why people won't ask him to sing smiley face. Lesson. If you do not believe in yourself, no one else will. I dropped out of my PhD and came back to India. At 24, I had no plans, no goals, no direction, no money. Ma and Papa weren't too happy, but to their credit they did their best to hide their anguish. One day, I still remember I was brushing my teeth when Ma came to me and sheepishly said, "Would you want to consider taking the IAS examination? You know, because I think you might make a good IAS officer." It was a request for me to consider something. I politely declined, but realized how blessed I was to have parents who would request their kids to consider. Lesson. Respect doesn't come from title, age or experience. It comes from conduct. I have lost count of the times Papa would step into a situation whenever everything else had failed and redeem the moment. Be it as trivial as wedding guests have arrived and the food isn't even prepared, to as critical as, where will we arrange money for his ticket to the US? Lesson. Whenever everyone else fails you, you still have yourself. Ma has always stood for perfection. But she has a very interesting and inspiring definition of it. Perfection is when you do something with such finesse that people are left amazed at how you even did it. But for you, it is not a big deal. It is a habit. It is natural. Lesson. Perfection is personal. It is what makes others wonder. But for you it is the only way you know. Both Ma and Papa come from Srinagar, where they grew up with little privilege. They did not go to any top school. They did not have any stamp that would set them for life. They just worked their way through. Like most others of their generation. And it often makes me cry to realize how much they went through just to ensure that my sister and I got the best we could. We went to good schools, we were given the freedom to live our lives, we were always loved and taken care of. And I am convinced that much of what we are today is because of the upbringing we had. We lived a life without money, in extreme conditions quite often, but we always made sure we had a good time. 4 of us on our Bajaj scooter, going to India Gate with a bag containing a pressure cooker full of peas pulao, a sheet to sit on, plates and cutlery. And ending the evening with the 5 rupee ice candy from Qualita. I guess this is where I got the courage to pursue happiness. I knew what it was to live without money. But I didn't know what it was to live without happiness. Today, one of my key goals is to give my parents all the money they need. To do whatever they want. They already know what it is to be happy smiley face. Letters to our kids that I never wrote but should have. Dear Vidar, each time you cry watching a cartoon, because of what you think is something unfair, I hope and pray that you never forget how you felt. I hope your definition of what is unfair remains just as pure. Love. Dear Uzma, I didn't think we needed you. I was worried whether you would turn out to be a boy, 2 boys, no. I was worried I wouldn't have the time for you. But I am so glad you came to our world. You complete me. Love. Dear Vidar, recall how badly you wanted a bicycle when you were 5 and we couldn't afford it. We somehow managed. When you saw it, you broke down. So when we asked you, what's the best gift you've got from us? We expected you to say that cycle. You said, Uzma, you are so precious. Love. Dear Uzma, every time you stand in front of the mirror and sing and dance like you don't care, you remind me how wonderful life is. Confession. I do the same now, in front of the mirror. Love. Dear Vidar, we were forcing you to sleep, when all you wanted to do was stand in front of the window and feel the raindrops fall on you. So you pretended to sleep. And when we left, you went to the window and felt the raindrops on you. You did the right thing. Love. Dear Uzma, your name in Urdu means the greatest. No pressure. Smiley face. Love. Dear Vidar, your name in Hindi means the intelligent or wise one. No pressure. Smiley face. Love. Dear Uzma, the big highlight of the day for you is choosing the clothes you will wear. You devote your heart, mind and soul to it, as if your life depends on it. And once it's done you always feel proud that you did it. Live this way. Forever. Love. Dear Vidar, I love how excited you get when we get Amazon packages. That is yet another cardboard box for you to play with. Make robots, kitchen sets, gaming arcades. You see things. And I hope and pray you continue to, forever. Love. Dear Uzma, the best part of the day is when we wind up your toys together. You look forward to it. Cleaning the mess, sorting the chaos, putting things back, before you put on your suit night. Continue doing this forever. It is your mess. You fix it. Feel happy doing so. Love. Dear Vidar, you love irritating Uzma. You scare her, shout at her, scold her, even hit her, but then you say sorry. You cry if she cries. You read books to her to console her. You have a gift to see when people like what you do and when they don't. Don't change that. Love. Dear Uzma, you express yourself as if you are an adult. What you like, what you don't. What you want and what you don't. What makes you happy and what doesn't. You seem to know yourself very well. That is a gift. Always work on that. Love. Dear Vidar, the world will continue to impose its definition of success and failure on you. We are guilty of it too. Go ahead and define success and failure the way you want to. Live your own life, not someone else's. Love. Dear Uzma, the world will continue to impose its definition of success and failure on you. We are guilty of it too. Go ahead and define success and failure the way you want to. Live your own life, not someone else's. Love. Dear Vidar, every time you ask me to share our money, ice cream, biscuits with the kids on the street because they do not have what we have, you remind me of how all of us were, before we became who we are. Please don't become who we are. Love. Dear Uzma, when you read books to yourself, despite the fact that you can't read, you still enjoy the book just as much as you would if we were to read it out to you. Sometimes even more. It is the story in your head that is the most important story. Always remember that. Love. Dear Vidar, you once wanted to become a soldier, then a watchman, then a robot, then an artist. You know what? I really wish you become all of that and more. Why become only one thing in our life? We have only one. Love. Dear Uzma, you call Vidar, Dada. It means brother in Bengali and grandfather in Hindi. But you don't know that yet. When you do, don't change it because it doesn't sound right. Keep it, because that is where you have come from. Don't ever forget where you have come from. Love. Dear Vidar, Mama and I grew up with virtually no money. But you go to an air-conditioned school. Our job then is to constantly remind you of your privilege. You haven't earned this. You were gifted this. Don't ever be proud of it. Be grateful for it. Love. Dear Uzma, there is something special about how you sing along with Alexa each time Dada plays your favorite song. You pretend you are a rock star. Tell you what? You are. You are whoever you think you are. Love. Dear Vidar, your kindness, your respectful nature, your cheerful demeanor and your ability to immerse yourself into anything is precious. You make us so proud of you, Mary Yan. Don't change. Love. Dear Uzma, your energy, your antics, your cheerfulness bring so much happiness to our lives. I didn't think we could experience love from a child like you have made us feel. You make us so happy, Mary Yan. Always be happy. Love.